Is mine loud enough? There we go. Oh, wow. That's loud.
Did you turn up your volume?
I upped my volume.
Okie dokie.
But actually, I think I'm going to turn it down a bit because all I hear is breathing.
Heavy breathing.
Oh, look, people.
Oh, fuck. We just had to go now.
Well, we're at a university. We're going to run into people.
No, we're not.
Are we jaywalking?
Yes.
Campus Cowboys might get us.
I don't care. Just had them on our podcast. It's mainly to avoid them. And to, keep recording and avoid questions. Because as much as I joke about being like, want to be on our podcast? No.
Aw. Maybe it would be interesting. Just go up and start randomly interviewing people. We'd need a hand mic then.
Yeah, we would. I have one. I mean, it's doable.
It would be an interesting podcast. Hi, and you are?
No. I can't say that I would.
You're not outgoing enough. I could probably do it. Especially if I had something to drink first.
Okay, that's unfair. If you bring alcohol into it, yes, then I would.
And you're willing to do anything.
Not quite, but at that point, it's, want to be on my podcast?
We could have
we do this thing every week. It's not airing until next year, but we had viewers last season when we had stuff. We had listeners, not viewers. That'd be kind of impressive.
We could do like a...
It's not the only thing, but we somehow had viewers. It was that good.
That's like the people in the olden days when they sat and stared at the radio.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go that way.
Okay. Oof. Good job.
Well, you almost walked me into a pole.
You are a pole.
Kinda.
Where do we go? We have no answers to these questions, Where do we stand? When do we fall? With no direction or conviction at all.
Welcome to the second episode of The Walking Cure. I'm Rain, along with...
Can't do casual, girl.
Yep.
Which I'm kind of actually doing casual.
You have made significant improvement. Just when we come up with this name for you, you go and you totally just destroy it by doing casual repeatedly.
Yeah, well, I like irony.
Then again, you are... I don't know so much that's casual as you're not wearing as much.
It's very revealing, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if that's casual. I still think you have a bit of a ways to go.
Yeah, my makeup's definitely not casual either, so...
No. No, it is not. So, yeah, I guess you still live up to your name. For now. We'll see. We shall see in the future. How has your week been?
Not too bad. Mostly still hating work.
It's kind of become par for the course, though.
Yep. It's like the new thing to do, hate your job.
Yeah, isn't that like the standard? This is how you mark that you've become an adult. You get up every day and you hate your job.
Yep. The only thing is I don't really adult well.
No, I still do that whole randomly emotionally quit thing.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't here because it's expensive and it is not so easy to just up and leave and still pay rent.
Yeah, the leaving part's easy. The paying rent after that's the sticky point.
Yeah. So yeah, not as an option for me, but it's getting closer to that point.
Yeah. I think your week definitely tops mine for the hating work part.
In what way?
Oh, just you had way more issues with work this last week than I did.
This is true. But I think mainly it's just going to pinnacle at a certain point where it's just like, I'm done. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I think that's what this is just building to. It's crescendoing at this point. Crescendoing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crescendoing at this point. And it's eventually going to hit a peak where it's just like, and done.
Yeah.
which is why I'm starting to get back into freelance editing, because frightening.
Yeah, and I'm getting into nothing specific.
Podcasting.
Yeah, podcasting. My new career. And how much do you make doing that? You can make money doing that?
Apparently, if we're good enough. There's like the thing, you get like sponsors or something, and then it interrupts right in the middle. Part of me hopes that like that would be awesome that if that was the point, because like right then and there, that would be a perfect spot to interject.
That would be awesome.
I'd be like, speaking of.
And now a word from our sponsors.
The people who pay us so that we don't have to actually work.
Yeah.
We can just make a living doing this. Walking every Friday night and talking.
Yep.
And recording an hour of it, and then me going and doing like 4 hours of post-production work at home.
Yeah.
While you go and do your thing elsewhere and have a fun weekend.
Yeah, so I basically don't do any of the work. I walk and talk. You walk and talk and do the work.
Yeah, that's true. Although someone got fancy and brought their own equipment this time.
Yeah, well, I had. Might as well bring it.
I suppose mine's not good enough.
No, this one's way more comfortable. The mic may suck more. I don't know.
Well, see, I haven't even edited the first one yet. Because now I have a computer that has a sound card in it that I can like plug a cable in to record off of this. Because still not doing the data thing with my recorder.
Mm-hmm.
So an hour podcast takes an hour to record.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
And if I'm like being smart about it, I could listen to it at the same time and make notes about what needs to be cut and whatnot and make my job easier, but no. I plug it in, I hit record, and I go like have coffee or something.
Yeah.
And do other things while it's recording, and then I come back an hour later, oh, it's finished.
Yeah.
Stop. How do I know it's finished? Because for the last 20 minutes it's recorded a blank line. That's how I know it's done.
Yeah. We're just padding the end with silence for all the mimes out there.
Gotta make up that time somewhere. Gotta hit that 60-minute mark.
Yep.
You can't have it be like 43. I really hope our first podcast is 43.
Okay. Do you remember how long we actually recorded? Was it like...
It was just over an hour.
Okay.
Because we had some stuff to cut, mainly where I fell.
You're not keeping that in?
No. I was also in the middle of a horrible joke.
Yeah.
The one that was cut from last season's podcast. Yeah, that one. I was retelling it for your benefit.
Yeah.
And yeah. This week's episode of The Walking Cure brought to you by audio problems. Same as last week's. But not real audio problems, mainly just Rain's made up audio problems because she's not hearing herself in her headset.
Are you still not hearing yourself?
Oh no, I'm hearing myself
Okay.
now. I think it was just my volume getting hit again.
Ow.
I think I need like a better headset.
Well, this one does that too. If I turn the volume up too high, it just cuts out completely.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
like
might
it's
be
so
what-
high I can't hear it.
Your headset's telling you something about your voice. Okay, now it's so high that that's all I can hear is. I don't know that I'm. Oh. You know what's the worst about editing these podcasts?
Hearing your own voice?
Yes. It is horrible. I'm just like, can I cut that part? Can I cut like all of that part? I know there's a really funny joke in there, but I don't like that person's voice. Can I cut it?
Well, you could always change the pitch on the voice.
But then I have to like isolate that voice, and I have to alter it, and I have to change all of it. It's a nightmare.
It's a lot more work, yes.
You do it.
Yeah, okay, when I have free time, I'll do it.
I say you should give up one of your weekends for the sake of the podcast. I mean, for the sake of the podcast. If this matters to you, I'm teasing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, I'll just say no to my girlfriend.
And your wife.
And my wife, yes. We're mentioning that on the podcast, are we?
What was,
okay with that.
what was the topic of this about this podcast? Wasn't it relationships?
I thought that's where we were going.
That's
with
where
it.
we're going
You
with
hadn't
this.
mentioned it yet, though, so...
Well, no, because there's the banter part.
Yes.
And that would have been like a perfect segue if you hadn't fucking ruined it.
It is perfect because I mentioned it. Break the fourth wall. Or is it only like a second wall with audio?
We have like no walls.
No walls? Okay. So like Deadpool would would be like totally cool in an audio podcast.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You know what else would be cool on podcast? Rorschach.
Yes. Just seeing all of his facial changes, that would be awesome in audio.
Not that. No, his thing where he does his talking.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's the constant monologue guy.
Yes.
Or soliloquy.
Exactly.
Monologue.
Monologue, yeah. You're using the umbrella as a walking stick,
yep.
or a cane.
I'm a classy chick.
Living up to your age, I see.
Oh, you should not say things like that when I'm holding an umbrella.
That's okay. I can control whether or not people can hear you.
Yeah, but they might hear you scream.
I also cut things. I do cut the podcast, so
Yeah.
you know, I can take that part out.
Yeah, that's true.
Or if I really want to put the work into it, I guess I could replace my screen with yours. But doing both of them, that's a lot of work.
I guess I kind of
But I could do it.
I have to suck up to you with these, otherwise you're going to cut all the good stuff and make me out to be an idiot.
That's right, I can't do that, can't I? I hadn't thought of that until now.
Oh, crap.
Remember, I haven't cut episode 1 yet.
This is going downhill fast.
And after 3 episodes, I lost my co-host. Damn it! So on episode 4, we're looking for a new co-host. Or I'm looking for a new co-host.
Yeah.
Why does
No,
everyone leave me?
I won't leave you until I hear the episode, and that won't be till next year.
We'll be done recording the 2nd season by then. It won't matter.
Exactly.
Well, it might if I want to do a 3rd one.
Yes.
Maybe. Unless I've decided to make this a thing where every season it's a new co-host.
Oh, that would be sad for me, but kind of a cool idea.
At one point, I was considering just replacing me with our previous one, Hatman. And if we could do a Skype recording thing where it's we're walking and then we have him recording on his end and then you recording here and going back and forth.
That would be interesting.
That would be really cool.
Or even set up the Sheldon robot thing.
No.
Too expensive?
Yeah.
Out of our budget?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm sure we can find some engineers to help us with that. Hey, we're at a university.
Mm-hmm. This is true. I'm sure they have a robotics department.
Oh, absolutely.
That might be interesting to get into.
Robotics?
Yeah, probably more than just a 1-year thing, though.
Yeah.
Probably a 4-year thing, similar to
At least.
the engineering I was going to take and failed out of. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a parking lot. Let's go.
Go hang out in a parking lot, do some drugs.
I don't have any, do you?
Depends what you consider drugs.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I have nothing on me. My drugs will put you to sleep.
Yes.
So we'd be passed out in a parking lot.
Just hear us breathing for the rest of the podcast. Mind you, they're hearing us breathing anyway.
Yeah, but it'd be more heavily and there'd be no talking in between. There'd be nothing funny to laugh at.
Although, after a while, it probably would be funny.
Maybe.
Kind of like when Andy Kaufman came out.
We have a road there that we can go to.
Oh, okay.
Or not a road, a sidewalk
Yes,
thing. Or a bike
we were
path
on
thing.
the road.
We're on a road to darkness.
Yep. A road to nowhere?
So we're taking classes at SFU then? I'm kidding.
Yeah. I might
But
be taking...
we were there, so it's topical, so... See, it's a good thing we crossed. There's a car.
Yeah.
We would have gotten run over.
So other than mentioning I have a girlfriend and a wife, we haven't talked too much about relationships.
We'll get to it, probably, I think. Is that the Google car?
I think it might have been.
I think it is.
Check your Google. Check your Google.
No. It's a BlackBerry.
Doesn't do Google?
It does Google things, kind of, but not very well.
Google things. Have you ever been Googled?
No.
I don't even know what that means.
Neither do I. What could that...
I swear I haven't taken anything tonight.
No, you're like this all the time.
Yep.
So am I.
It's rather unfortunate, but
why would it be rather unfortunate?
I don't know. People have to live with me like this.
And?
Well, some of the people I live with don't really get it. Okay, one of the persons
you live with
I live
more
with,
than one other person?
no, the one person I live with doesn't usually get it. Yeah. And speaking of her, I should let her know that we're safe so far.
Yeah.
Because that's a relationship kind of thing to do.
Yes, it is.
Walking.
Just while we're in the university thing, I find it funny. Thinking back, and I came across some stuff. I was going through a bunch of old files.
Mm-hmm.
Came across something, and it reminded me of, what was it, back in 2011 when we were doing the podcast, the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, date it, why don't I?
You said no dating stuff.
And then last episode, if you remember right, I went and I dated everything.
Yeah.
And I made it perfectly clear that it's like, it's summer that we're recording now, and it's winter when we release.
Mm-hmm. I see nothing wrong with this, really.
There really isn't. It's always nice not to drop everything, but, you know,
yeah.
for once it's not me being clumsy. I'm going to mark this day in my calendar.
What is the date? Okay.
15th?
14th.
Well,
Oh, no, it is the 15th.
It's the 15th now.
Yeah.
So give it an actual date. Why don't you then?
You didn't say a month.
August.
We suck at this.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think we do. Oops.
You snagged my cord. Am I still working? Yeah.
I don't know. Are you still working? Your headset is, but are you still working?
Yeah.
No.
I kind of show up.
You exist.
Yeah. It's kind of like a relationship I had
Oh?
before the wife.
Do tell.
Okay, well, this is going to be embarrassing, but since I've already mentioned stuff like this on my blog, it doesn't really matter.
So tell everyone you have a blog. Why don't you?
Yeah, I have a blog.
But like, while here, it's like I'm just gonna plug my blog.
yeah.
Give you the address.
Plug my own blog. It's Realizing Jessica at blogspot.ca, or not at
Blogspot.com.
blogspot.com. Yes.
You might want to give that whole address again.
Yes, realizingjessica.blogspot.com.
I'm gonna cut all of that now.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine to plug your own things.
Yeah, I won't be paying for that plug, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I should bill you for that. I should. Just to teach you a lesson about plugging things on the podcast. That it's totally okay, but you need to pay us money. That we'll split.
I have $3.
So if you give me the $3, then and you say then you paid $6 because you paid yourself $3.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's only $3.
But it's your $3. I don't know. $3 to me is a big deal.
That looks like a path that goes off into the dark.
I think we should take that one.
I think so. Just cross here.
I guess so.
It's flat. Mostly. There's some
That's
grass.
And then I fall flat on my face. What do we say about me in flat ground versus me in elevated ground?
Yeah, I think you're unsafe either way.
That's only when I'm being pushed. That's only when I'm being pushed off to the edge on elevated ground.
This is true.
If
No
it's-
smoking.
I see people.
Do you?
No, I think it's a
I
post.
see 2 white posts.
Okay, that's a post.
Yeah.
Well, the posts look like people. They could be people posts.
Very, very short people.
I have a friend who's that short. We call her the little one, or Hobbit.
I have a friend that short too. We call her Munchkin.
Like the game.
No, like Munchkins.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, I wish it was like the game, but I think this is the path. Kind of hard to see.
If the ground goes crunch, 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 so I assume it's a path.
Yeah. And I have a fake sword to protect us with in my wrong hand.
You know, if you know, if they don't see very well in the dark, they might think it's a sword.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe. It doesn't really look like the shape of a sword.
No, it does.
It's long and pointy, but like
Yeah.
there's I don't know. When you go to hit them, I think you kind of give it away.
Could use it like a kendo stick.
You can poke them in the eye with it, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, you were talking about your embarrassing relationship?
Yes. How old would I have been? Oh, yes, 29. No, 39. No, 29. Let's get the ages right.
You don't have to date yourself on here and, like, reveal how old you are.
It's kind of inevitable with this particular story.
All right.
So, I was 29 and on Lava Life, of all places.
We all make mistakes.
Yes, looking for love on the internet. And,
Hey, I have a date with someone tomorrow that I met on the internet.
oh yeah.
We'll see how well that turns out.
Well, hopefully it's not like most of my internet dates went.
We shall see. I haven't had a lot of luck on that.
Some of them went all right. Depends whether you're interested in doing things on the first date or not.
That's what I'm worried about.
Worried about wanting to, or
No. Worried about him wanting to.
Ah,
Read earlier when I said about I consider sex to be just a lot of work.
yeah.
There's a lot of unnecessary effort that goes into it when I could just like cuddle and watch TV or something in a
Yes.
movie
I do
or
think,
kick them out and play WoW.
well, but cuddling is very cool.
I would rather do that. That sounds like a fun evening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like getting hot and sweaty. It's effort. It's work.
Well, I mean, you could just kind of lay there.
That's usually what I end up doing. It's like, you do it. You do all the work.
It's usually what I wind up doing too, but that's because I can't do anything else when people are doing certain things to me.
See, you have a good reason. You used to be like, well, I wanted to do the work, but I couldn't because you just kept hitting those spots.
Yeah. At most, I kind of do crunches, convulse a bit, shudder.
I might at one point turn around and make like an effort. And by effort, I mean, I don't know, get on top for maybe 5 minutes.
That's a
Before
long
it's
time.
like, it feels like 5 minutes. It's probably only 2 or 3,
Yeah.
if that. We're like, okay, you go back to that and I know what I'm doing. You don't.
All right.
Anyways, back to your story.
Yeah. 29 on Lava Life. Had a few meetups with people that didn't really go anywhere, and took a try on another one. I have no idea where these paths go. This is kind of
Pick this
fun.
one.
Yeah. So,
If I was gonna say if we get murdered, people get to hear it, but no, they won't, because
ooh, look at that. On a podcast. Look. That's a long ways down. Interesting.
that it is. We go walk along the edge and I can fall.
No, that's why it's there.
Fences don't mean anything to me. Look, oh no, it still keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, look, it ends. They didn't try very hard. They're just like, you get the idea. Don't go there.
I've been on dates like that. So I wound up choosing to meet this one particular lady, and I actually kind of forget what we did on the date, but we wound up back at my place, which I shared with a roommate. And
Did you share her with the roommate?
no, but things could have actually happened that night, but they didn't because I chose not to. And then saw her again the next night, where she just came over, watched TV or a movie or something, and then things did happen that night. And predominantly that was because at the time I was a virgin.
So that whole, get it, just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, pretty much. There wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily a whole lot of real attraction there. It was more, I'm going to be 30 soon, and this is my best shot.
Yeah.
Careful, downhill. and very bad visibility.
Yeah. So, like, what?
This way. This way.
Spiderweb. Spiderweb. Every morning when I leave my apartment to go to work, the way I go out, there's this poor spider that keeps rebuilding its home, and my forehead keeps destroying it.
Why don't you just take and move the spider?
Why don't I just what?
Take the spider
Yeah.
and move him.
Because I never see him around.
Oh, okay.
He's always out doing things, getting drunk, partying, passed out in some neighbor's web.
Ooh, you.
Ooh, pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad that no one, that our listeners aren't here to see it.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Just a nice view of Vancouver from the top of Burnaby Mountain.
Yep. I mean, I guess we could use our cameras to take pictures. Someone who's like, I have a 13 megapixel camera now.
Oh, actually, yeah, and it
in
does.
my phone.
It just did an update that has a night mode.
I'm surprised you're not over there right now being like, hey, take a picture.
Normally I would, but
You're like recording podcasts, more important.
well, that's bright.
To which I respond, damn straight.
Yep. Oh, I agree. I have no idea where we are, and that's very dark. Okay. Night mode. Oh, that changed absolutely nothing.
Well, maybe it doesn't change until you actually take the picture.
Oh, I think I saw what it did. I think it takes 3 pictures at different exposure levels.
Ah, that would explain it.
I have a camera, an actual camera.
Don't fall.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop and take one more of that place. It's not a stunning photo, but...
No. No, we passed that. You missed your shot.
Yeah. Oh, and it's blurry. That one's not as blurry, but it's still not worth looking at. So, yeah, no pictures.
That's okay. I wasn't going to post them with it anyway. To actually give each episode its own artwork, it seems a little time consuming. It's more of maybe a season 3 thing. I mean, people are lucky that they're getting any artwork whatsoever. I still don't know what our season 2 stuff is going to be, but I think that really depends on the majority of the conversation throughout the episodes. That's kind of how we did it last time. And we ended up thinking that would actually be... And we did it for season 2 because it was supposed to be about, the year, like our about 2006, what we call the golden year. Of course, we didn't end up recording anything really for our version of season 2 then. So we ended up recording 2 episodes. Well, 2 episodes plus a special. But the special was years later.
Okay, so back to that relationship, to get back to the point that brought it up in the first place.
Oh, it wasn't the end of the story.
No, that wasn't the end of the
I thought
story.
you were just like telling random stories.
No, it related to something that I said like 15 minutes ago now. Which basically was...
You were talking 15 minutes ago? All I can hear is my own voice. I didn't even realize that I have a co-host at this point. Okay, anyways.
So yeah, the relationship didn't really go much of anywhere because just certain things with her weren't compatible with me. So after a while, I kind of checked out of the relationship instead of just breaking it off.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which essentially required her to break up with me.
This is this story.
This is this story, yes.
Okay, go on. I like the story. Because it makes me feel like less of a bad person for one of my own. I'll tell it after you're finished.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad I could help.
Well, I've told you my story. It's somewhat similar to yours.
Yeah.
A little more heartbreaking, maybe.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. Hard to. Ooh, pretty.
I wonder if I can take a picture of this. Again, not.
I have a camera on here? Oh, yeah, there we go. You mean it can do other things other than take selfies?
I wonder if I steady it. Oh yeah, use the flash, that'll help. Aren't you supposed to know camera stuff?
You or me?
You.
I am. That's why I use flash.
But all you're going to get is the tree.
You know what? Shh.
There's a whole bunch of tricks you can do. You put a timer on so
I'm
that
gonna
it...
shut that off.
Yeah.
It's because someone has the good spot right now.
Oh, I have
where there
the good
are no
spot.
trees.
I'll trade.
Okay.
Oh, careful, don't trade. Let my cord go. There you go.
Your cord kills me.
Literally.
I do not want to see pictures of myself right now. I want to take pictures about things that are not me. Because apparently my... Are you just taking selfies by this? Is that what you're doing?
No, that was not a selfie.
Okay.
I'm using the rear camera.
You're using the rear, huh?
Yeah. I can take a picture of us. It won't look like anything because there's... Yeah, that's not going to work.
I take a variety of pictures. Okay, switch it over to night mode. Okay. Yeah. What do you mean my BlackBerry camera's not very good?
No, don't take the picture back out.
Anyways, I think you need to be on this side for that to work.
Yeah.
Because that's where the headset is. There we go.
So yeah, I basically didn't instigate anything. Whenever we got together, I just kind of was there. And I guess eventually she had enough of that.
Yeah, So then what happened?
Then, about 2 weeks later, after we had broken up, she calls me and asks to go to coffee, so kind of to see if we can be friends kind of thing. So it's like, okay, and we went for coffee down in White Rock and went down to the beach, which was probably the wrong thing to do.
At the time, could you not see where this was going?
No, I was very naive at the time.
Was this your first relationship?
No, that makes it even sadder.
Was this the first time you tried to break up this way, or you're just like, I'm just gonna check out?
No, this was the first time I'd ever
All right, so
checked out of a relationship.
maybe at this point, cut you a little bit of slack and think maybe you were kind of like, I was so distant that there's no way she'll get back with me.
Yeah. So, we go for a walk on the beach, kind of talking and stuff, and at the end of the night, we're going to say goodbye. It kind of went well. Figured maybe we can be friends kind of thing, and I was pretty sure she kind of leaned in, and kind of instinct took over, and I kissed her. Which was not what I should have done. So that kind of ended that night with her kind of wondering what happened and me kind of wondering what happened because I didn't want to get back together with her.
And yet,
and
this is
then,
called mixed signals.
Yes, I know now. It wound up with her contacting me the next day, like, so, are we back together now? I'm like, no, and she's like, but you kissed me.
Like, yeah, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
There's a light thing going through the sky.
Yep, I saw that on the drive-in.
That is so cool.
I have no idea what it's for. Well, other than to attract attention to something, I just have no idea what that something is. Okay, I know where we are. And we probably don't want to go downhill too much, and we want to get off the road so we don't get run over.
But running over is fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
You have been hit by a car, haven't you?
I have been hit by a car. I wasn't actually run over. I was flown through the air. Okay, we're staying on this way, or
Yeah.
vehicle come?
Yeah. Just if we go down there, I'm not sure if there's. Oh no, we can go down and walk up the road back to the.
You should be okay.
It's uphill, but it should be all right.
I don't think it'll be that bad. We've been going up and down hills.
Yeah.
But yeah, mixed signals, and where were you?
That was just that whole relationship. Other than getting rid of my virginity, was a huge epic fail. The only thing I guess I got out of it is I learned that I did all the bad things.
So I mean, the theory then it. Oh, the car's passed. One more. So, I mean, the theory then is that in this relationship you did all the bad things and you kind of got them out of the way, learned your lesson. You shouldn't, in theory, repeat the stuff because you've done it once and you've learned your lesson.
Careful.
I see it.
Hey, I'm just paranoid now.
And in the process, I went down on that thing coming back from you when you did that and went on the side of my foot. So now you can't win.
No, that was a very deep hole.
Yeah, I know, and I saw it coming up. Probably not soon enough to save, so you probably did, but in the process you also injured me and interrupted my point in the podcast, which was going to be kind of funny and a good segue, and now I have to redo it because I got to cut all this.
Sorry.
Way to make me do more work. I think you just want to ruin my weekend.
I do not want to ruin your weekend.
You get to go off having fun and exploring things.
That's not till next weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's next weekend.
Yep.
When you're abandoning me and the podcast. You're turning your back on our listeners. I can't call them viewers. Listeners.
Yeah, I might be turning other things on them too. So it depends on the positions I get in.
On our listeners?
No, just well.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that anyone listening would. Maybe. I don't know. Oops. I keep yanking your cord. So anyways, so the theory then is that you got all the bad stuff out of the way. You did everything that you were supposed to, like everything that you weren't supposed to do in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one should go well. Enter your next relationship. How did that go?
That's my current relationship. Well, one of my current relationships.
So we know how that went then.
Yes, wound up with marriage.
Yes. Okay. We will leave it at that.
We can get more into that later.
Or not.
Or not.
I don't know that you necessarily want to dive that deep in. It's one thing to talk about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to talk about the details of a relationship.
Yeah.
And not just like the fun stuff, but to actually, yeah. Well, a current relationship. I think past relationships, I don't know about you, but personally, past relationships, I have no problem publicly sharing all the nitty-gritty details of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Yep.
Which means anyone who's dated me in the past is screwed. Because I don't shut up. For someone who hates attention and who hates her own voice, she sure likes talking, especially about herself. I also like writing about myself as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that one.
I think you're with me on the talking about yourself too.
Yeah.
Especially to just like a wide open audience that you don't know, and it's like,
Yep.
you don't know how many people eventually end up hearing it.
Yeah, I really don't have a desire to keep anything secret anymore.
That's never been an issue. Like, keeping things secret and held close to me has never really been a thing. I have an issue sharing with people who are close to me. But people who don't know me, like just a wide open audience that I don't necessarily see, or even one that I do see that I don't know, I have no problem exposing the most intimate details of my life to them.
Yeah, that's kind of how my blog started. It was me writing to a computer screen. There wasn't people there.
Oh, I have no problem talking to people as well. Not even just podcast form, but like public speaking form. That is one thing that I'm good at. But yeah, it's smaller groups, especially with people that I know, that I despise. It's like, I'll just shut up and keep to myself. Although, then again, if one person asks the right question, I'll just go off and I'll just talk for an hour about my stuff and myself. So in that way, I'm narcissistic. I don't know if that counts, though. Maybe? It sure takes a lot of poking to sort of go, talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Talk about yourself. When it comes up in groups, we're just like, tell us about yourself. I'm like, I'm Rain. I've been doing stuff for a while. I work, and that's about it. Someone else talk now.
Yeah.
But you go into a podcast, and I don't fucking shut up.
Hadn't noticed.
Even before we started recording, when we went for walks, I don't shut up. To a point where it's like my voice gets hoarse and I can't talk anymore. And even then, I still try.
Yep.
Okay, so that was your current relationship that you're in. What about your previous relationships before that train wreck of one?
Well, the first relationship was at the young age of 26.
What kept you from having relationships before that?
Total lack of trust in myself, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, shyness, inability to talk.
I don't get any of that from you now.
No.
You can't ever see a time where that was the case. I mean, there's a vehicle. Yeah, but I can't ever see a time where that was the case.
Yeah, yet it was. For, probably from the age of 7 until 42. Which, strangely enough, is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
So, when people need to know an answer for something, it's essentially Jess.
Yes.
But next year it won't be Jess.
No. Well, I'm already 43 now, so.
Oh, right. Yeah, never mind. Right.
Yeah, I'm old, remember?
You are not old. Quit saying that.
I could technically be your parent, age-wise. Yeah, it's iffy, but
Yeah, that's kind of suspect. Then I might have questions at that point, because I'm almost 30, so... That's actually a frightening thought.
well, there was just a 12-year-old rape victim somewhere that gave birth. So, yeah.
Way to ruin the mood.
Oh, was that inappropriate? We're talking about relationships.
And then you talk about rape, and it's like, yeah, there's a rape victim. And what's that a segue to? What are you trying? Are you a rape baby? Is that what you're trying to segue to here?
No.
All my issues stem from that. I mean, we were just talking about rape and hentai.
This is true.
And how there is like a certain level of acceptability, but there has to be if you're into that. This just gets to a certain point where it's just like, this is still really uncomfortable, but it's also kind of hot. I think I'm okay with it at this point. She seems to want it. I mean, she's a slave to her own desires now, but she really seems to want it, even though like she's made this way. So I think I can be okay with that.
Yeah, it's kind of an ambivalent thing.
It's this gray area where it's like, it's not okay, but it's okay enough, and it's animated, not real. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I have to play the animated, not real card here. Like, yeah, but she doesn't have real feelings. She's an animated character who's not real. I mean, that would be frightening if they actually were real. And it's like after we finish watching it, we put it away, and it's like it just keeps going on because it's like an actual thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's an issue. And that's frightening.
I think one of the issues might be the drugs that you're taking.
Mine? Why do you...
If you're thinking that the cartoon characters might have a life outside of the cartoon.
Well, I don't think that. My drugs have no effect on them. I mean, they might fuck with a lot of things, but I, for one, choose to believe that they're not real.
Alrighty then. On there.
I think we have the title for the episode.
Yeah.
Tentacle Rape Babies.
Perfect.
I wonder if I can do that on iTunes. I guess we'll find out.
Yep.
So if this episode is in fact titled that, it means, well, we were able to do Park Bench Horrors on iTunes before. I don't see why we can't do Tentacle Rape Babies. I feel like we're showing an image of it.
No. We barely even discussed it.
It's just a fun thought. The fact that
Yeah. And you know.
it's a really misleading thing. Well, I guess it's technically a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Not one that either of us have experience in, but I'm sure we can imagine it.
Yeah. I try not to.
What kind of situation would lead to that? I guess at the end of the hentai,
Yeah.
maybe.
Or if you were an
Oh, that is so many babies that she'd give, though. Think about that. Like, how many times she's raped again and again?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how long that would take. How long for an alien life form? What would be your theory on how long it would take to give life for her to give birth? Do you think it'd be this 10 or 9 months? I think it'd be quicker.
In movies, it's usually quicker, just because it kind of makes the movie go faster.
And 9 months later,
I mean, I haven't really studied gestation periods all that much.
neither have I, but I imagine that you'd have some kind of theory.
We're running on a sidewalk here. Oops,
Ow.
sorry. Oh, there's more. Okay, path now. Interesting. You want to stay up here, or do I have the path?
Path.
Oh, jeez.
Don't kill yourself.
My
I
turn
need
to
you. I
almost
need
fall.
you. I need you for more episodes. After we're done this season, if you want to injure yourself to a point where you can't do this anymore, by all means.
Awesome.
I won't visit you in the hospital, but by all means, I'll send you links to the episodes. Entertainment?
As if the hospital food wasn't bad enough.
You had to listen to this. All right, so your last relationship then.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were going to get into my first relationship.
Yeah, that's what I mean, your first one.
So yeah, I was 26. At this point, I was still completely shy, introverted, couldn't talk. Basically, if I liked a girl, the best I could do would be to like smile at her, kind of in a weird way, I guess. Because I never did anything. So,
1 sec. Okay, I got enough to isolate and cut out. Anyways, go on.
So, I had 2 friends that worked at a video store, and there was a girl there that was kind of friends with my friend, and it's kind of complicated saying friend and friend and friend. I was over at my friend's house, and this girl
1 sec.
was there. Yep.
Let's get to the other side. Ow.
Careful.
Okay. Oh no, that was just I put my hand there. There's something sharp.
Ow.
Okay, anyways, go back to my friend.
My friends, we were at my friend's house, and this girl was there. She was kind of friends. And I didn't really get to talk to her other than saying hi. I may have introduced myself or been introduced. And I basically wound up talking with my other friend. And I forget how long I was there. But the gist of that is I found out the next day that the girl that I thought was cute told my friend that she thought I was cute.
Aha, one of those.
Yeah.
It's like high school.
Yeah, it's exactly like high school, but like 7 years later.
So late high school then.
Yeah. Like high school for the remedial kids.
I think we're past remedial at this point. We're like in the kids who just don't give a shit.
Well, that's kind of how like my social whole social demeanor worked.
You just didn't give a shit?
Well, it was a little late.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, my friend set us up, and basically after the first date, I was pretty much smitten, and it seemed like she was too, because I wound up like meeting her family that week.
Oh, it's a little fast.
Yeah, for like family dinner, and I'd often just go over there. Things were seeming to go quite well. We'd even had conversations within the first month of what we would name children, that kind of thing. And around the end of the second month, we were having another kind of discussion like that about the future, and all of a sudden she brought up this, there's a big pile there, brought up this dream that she had had the other night. And so the dream essentially was
Just stands.
kind of disjointed, but she described it as the first part of it, she was on a swing and being pushed by somebody, she didn't know who, and eventually she wound up falling off, so kind of like a brief nightmarish kind of thing, fell off the swing, and didn't really recall hitting the ground. The scene just changed, and
One sec. Scene just changed.
Yeah, the scene just changed, and she wound up picturing or dreaming of her and I at an altar, getting married, and her kind of looking around and basically running away at that point.
Sounds like her dream is kind of like she's thinking that she just leapt into it.
Yep.
One sec. Okay. No. So it sounds like her dream was that she just kind of leapt into it without looking where she was landing.
Yep. And I don't think...
Is that what she took from it as well?
I think so, or that she was being pushed into things. I don't think she had had many relationships before, one or two. But compared to my 0, that was more experience than I had.
That was a world more experience.
Yeah. But
so, go ahead.
I was just going to say that she kind of took her running away from the altar as a sign that she needed to kind of extricate herself from the relationship.
That's how I would take it.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of this friend I have. We'll call him Mac. Or I guess we call him Hewlett Packard. Cutting it out, but give you a reference. His actual name is Dell.
Oh, okay. So Lenovo.
Like that could. So I have this friend. We'll call him Lenovo. I like that. I think that's a good opposite to his actual name. If he ever listens, he'll know exactly that this is about him. Like, you know what? Let's just call him Laptop,
Okay.
because that's what we call him.
That actually works well.
Yeah, we call him Laptop. So a friend laptop, he does exactly kind of that with a relationship. He lives in laptop time.
Yeah.
So I think, what is it? By 3 months into most of his relationships, he's proposed. There's this one relationship that wasn't going well. Was it him? Or was it Budweiser who thought... I can't remember if it was him or if it was Budweiser that... cutting it out. His name is Brian Rickard, as in like Rickard's Red. Yeah. So we call him Budweiser.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyways.
I have like multiple nicknames for any of my friends.
I don't know, that's
We need to go that way.
yeah. It just kind of happened. We usually did it to, like, sometimes they don't know about it, and it's so that we can talk about them without them realizing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who's Budweiser? Oh, just this person you don't know. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Totally oblivious to the connection. Laptop was totally... He knew what was up. But we actually call him that to his face just to bug him. Because he hates it.
Yeah.
He gets angry. And then throws and then throws cats at people's balls.
Okay.
My best friend, Hatman, he got sacked with his own cat, a number of times. And then Laptop once set his hair on fire.
Oh, jeez. For some reason, that just reminded me of a really old computer game where it was like the Caveman Olympics, and they actually had a cat throwing competition.
Oh, no! I had a cat throwing competition. I forget what I called it. I think I just called it Cat Tossing 2000 or something, or no, the Cat Olympics. The Cat Olympics. That's what it was called. Or Catapult. It might have been Catapult. I don't remember. I would have to ask the little one what I called it, because I mainly did it with her cat. Well, no, I mainly named it with her cat. I did it with the other cat, Rekka. I did it with him too many times, and I was good at it. Like, okay, to be clear, cat was not harmed. It wasn't all that hard. Yes, it was across the apartment. And yes, the apartment was something like 30 feet. But it was always to a soft place. The cat wasn't injured. It was okay. After like 15, 20 minutes had passed and I wasn't angry anymore, I checked the cat to make sure it gave me a thing.
Yeah.
He ran right back up to me and he wanted to do it again. So not only was he not injured, he enjoyed it. That is not animal abuse. I'm sorry, I have to disagree.
Well, some cats are rather stupid.
Yeah, they're just like, wee! Through the air we go. Like, yeah. No, like, you don't understand. You're not allowed to piss on my network cables. That is not okay.
No.
That is why my first editing computer always had this horrible smell to it. This cat decided to piss on it. And make all my things his. Where's it going?
Things belong to us.
Yes, which is okay when it's my cat. And then the little one went and left her cat in our apartment when she moved out, and I had moved out, asking our neighbor downstairs to look after her. She did not. So then me and Hatman thought it would be, we could just go kidnap the cat from her. Well, that cat ended up living with me. Until I had to move back to my mom's place and I had to get rid of the cat. Because that was my first experience with debt collectors and it scared me. What I didn't realize was that you can just ignore the letters and they eventually go away.
Yep.
The debt doesn't, but the letters do.
Yeah.
And then they come back one day and hopefully you're in a better financial position at that point. Eventually I did pay them off years later. But had I known what I know now, then I would have stayed because that was probably the best apartment I ever had. It was a basement apartment, 1 bedroom. It was so freaking cheap. I think it was $500 a month.
That's pretty cheap.
Utilities included. For a 1 bedroom. And then you have Vancouver.
Yep.
And prices now. That was back in 2007. Alright, so, yeah, laptop had this thing as cars were coming. So, laptop had this thing he would do where he'd live in his own time. And, I think it was him. I think it was him who thought that they were having, it was him. I'm confident that it was. Because this is when he had his place that wasn't living below me. He moved to not all that far. So he proposed to his girlfriend that to fix their problems, they have a child. So, I mean, they're already fighting, and they're already, like, in not very good financial position.
Yeah.
Let's have a kid.
Interesting logic.
And this was to the girlfriend who I would get into sound wars with. When she lived below me, I would go and not try to talk over a car. I'm gonna thank myself when I go to edit this. And be like, thank you. You can just cut it instead of trying to make it work.
Yeah.
So she would be trying to lay down. I didn't realize she was trying to lay down. She eventually told me, and that didn't make me stop. I would go and turn on my music. I had my bass.
Yeah.
And then she would knock on the ceiling. I'd hear it through the floor. I'd go and I'd point my bass right at the floor. I'd turn the speakers right down and just crank the bass. That's all that you would hear.
Mm-hmm.
The floor would just vibrate. And then at one point, I decided I wanted to test. I wanted to test how loud I could make sound go.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my whole setup ended up being 12.3, I think. And keep in mind that the space that I lived in was like maybe 25 by 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that? No, not even that. It was small. I think it was more like 10 by 10, maybe. Until I decided to expand it into the living room more. Because, live behind a shower curtain. So, I would go and I'd point it at the floor, and I pointed all of it at the floor. Oh, it really made that floor vibrate. Like, a lot. If you go outside, you could hear the vibrations through the house.
Awesome.
And then I decided I'm going to point all my speakers at the window and open the window. That was fun. My roommate did not like it because she came home to that. She could hear it like half a block away. Because not only did I set that up, I switched everything to max. I went into my equalizer, and I pumped the things up that needed to be pumped up. I turned down the things that needed to be turned down. Made sure that bass was loud as hell. I only ever did that once. I wanted to double it. 24.6. My roommate said that if I do, she's moving. Even if she's not home. If I do it, she's moving. I showed her I moved out before and told her the day I was moving out. To be fair, she did say she found her own place. And that really tore our friendship. Living together really was fun the first few months.
Yeah.
Particularly when we didn't have hydro set up in the place yet.
Oh yeah.
So, and we were both still in college at the time. This was before we both dropped out after getting badly addicted to an MMO. And that was partly why I got addicted to that game, was because we played together. And we were hugely competitive.
Yeah.
Trying to outdo each other in our equipment and whatnot. So, and then me and her ended up spending real life money on things just to get our characters to a higher level. or just take your character's equipment to a higher level.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was doing like 3-day benders, where it's just like nothing. I wouldn't sleep. I was just nothing but level. And then I got accused of cheating. It's like, no, I'm just not sleeping. If that's cheating, we need to redefine cheating.
Yep.
But yeah, all that to say that your relationship kind of reminded me of that. Worst roommate relationship. What's that been for you?
I don't really have bad roommates. I've only ever had 2, other than the wife, but that doesn't really count as a roommate.
That's not a roommate at that point. That's an everything mate.
Yeah. The first one was also the one I had for the longest. And that was my friend that we shall call the Dane, which kind of gives him away. But
all I can think of is Dane Cook.
No, and Dane Cook is not funny, by the way.
I used to find him funny.
Yeah.
I've tried watching my favorite thing by him, which is Vicious Cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I tried watching it like a year ago.
Yeah.
Couldn't get into it.
No,
It's just like,
I find him kind of boring.
Yeah, it's just like maybe if I'm in like the exact right mood for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe when I was hadn't listened to a lot of comedians, and my idea of comedy was like prank phone calls.
Yeah.
Then he's funny. But then you start listening to more, and like actual comedy.
Yeah.
He's not so funny anymore. Kind of boring. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yay. So, first roommate was a friend that I met in the car.
Good girl. I have you trained well.
Friend that I met at UBC. We were both taking engineering, and we both did exceptionally poor at it.
Was there a reason you did exceptionally poor?
Well, for me, it was just way too much school right after however many years of elementary and high school.
Oh, you did that mistake too?
Yep.
You go straight from one to the other, and everyone's just like, take a break, take a break.
Well, actually,
my mom was just like, oh, don't take a break.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, go straight into that. And so, of course, and like even at work, they're just kind of like, go straight into school, because I was working at the TV station, and that was the expectation.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hatman was like, no, stay and take a victory lap with me. And like my drama teacher was just like, no, stay and do another year. We could use you. You're good at stuff.
I didn't even have the option of staying at high school another year. So, no,
I don't know that they would have, that it was an actual option. I think it was just something that they would let me do. Like, you want to stay another year? All right. I guess. What are you gonna take?
Yeah.
You're gonna retake that Comtech program that you passed in grade 12? You're gonna retake that one?
Just take everything you didn't take. Home ec.
We didn't have home ec.
No?
We didn't have shop either.
What the hell?
No, but Comtech I would have taken again. I think they would have been confused. Like, why are you taking the exact same class again? Yeah. Is 98 not good enough for you?
I want 100.
Actually, that was the one class I didn't give a shit about the mark. I was like, I'm in it to make funny things. I mean, it happened at least once that I can remember where we almost got suspended because we made something that was it was hysterical and everyone loved it. But it was just, it was not high school appropriate. So it's like we ended up failing it because
couldn't be marked.
Yeah, it's just like, I can't pass you for that.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, maybe he should have known what we were doing when we didn't get our script approved. We just skipped it. We didn't even have a script. We're like, we're gonna make racing. And then there was a time where I convinced my entire group to say, fuck getting a mark, and let's just do something no one else is going to do. So we did our newscast live. And they're all like, things are going to go wrong. And I'm like, things are definitely going to go wrong because that's how this works.
Yeah.
But they trusted me because I worked at a TV station, so I must know what I'm talking about. Nope.
That's not how it works.
It's like, I just do camera. I mean, yes, I've made a point to learn as much as I can, but this is how we do. This is how I think we do things at the station. These are the scripts that I see, so I'm going to write it like that. They do timing, so it's a high school thing, but I guess I'll do timing too, because that's what I see our director do. So they're just like, well, you know what you're doing. We had some ridiculous stories though. That we did a whole story on this one back alley street. It was called Cook Street, but I called it Cookie Street.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think I just didn't know any better. I didn't really think about the pronunciation. I just saw C-O-O-K-E. Cookie! And everyone followed my lead. No one corrected me. Everyone saw the sign. No one corrected me. They called it that when they went. They were reading this. The guy was reading the script, and he called it that. We talked about mysterious buildings there, where people have been there for days, or someone walked in, they were never heard from again. The fact that we passed at all, again, content is kind of suspect at best. So, but yeah, just convincing everyone just to say, well, we don't care about a mark. But I think my whole thing was, we're going to pass no matter what we do. Oh, oops. I think at one point I was told we're going to pass no matter what we do, which is why I relayed that information. Because we're doing it live.
Yeah.
Or something where she's like, you're brave. Well, we had equipment. We had switchers. And mics and all this other stuff. No one knew how to use any of it. I kind of did.
Yeah.
They let me take the switcher home. I went and I bought all parts for it. I was working at the time. I went and I got a whole bunch of adapters. I set up a bunch of cameras at home, practice switching. Yeah, I had that whole thing configured. Saved all my presets.
Yeah.
We even had a graphics computer. Hey, I was what, 16 or 17? Not bad for figuring that out by myself. I mean, I had some help. I looked at our board. Using all analog gear, so I looked at the one at work. It's like, okay, this is kind of how they do it. I think we can do this. It took a long time. Anyways, roommates.
Yes. So yeah, this was a friend that I met at UBC, and we basically, because it was too much schooling for me, I'm not sure if it was the same thing for him, I suspect it was. We basically spent most of our time not in class. Well, we tried at first, but it got to be too much. We spent 90% of our time in the arcade in the Student Union building, either playing pool or car racing games or arcade games that were popular at the time.
We spent too much time drinking in the school bar thing.
Oh, did that too.
And then going to class.
Oh, did
Drunk.
you do that?
Well, this is when we had introduced this forced Aboriginals class. We had to learn about their history.
Yeah.
And it had like nothing to do with broadcasting.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you had like tied it in better, I think the moment that did it in for me, though, I was willing to give it a shot. It was new, no one really knew what to do. But then they brought in a guest speaker who basically sat there for almost an hour berating all the white people in class for being white.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that racist? And it wasn't even to prove a point. It wasn't like, and that's what racism feels like.
Yeah.
No, it was genuinely like, you should feel ashamed for your people.
Yeah.
It's like, we did bad things in the past, but That was a long time ago.
I don't even think you should use the plural we for that. It's like they did bad things in the past.
Yeah. It wasn't... Yes, I get that residential schools were not all that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about things like the Holocaust weren't all that long ago either.
Yeah.
Not saying it's the same thing.
No.
Not what I'm saying. I'm simply using it as a time reference. Time-wise, I mean, we're still paying for... We're still paying for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually paying for it. Here's money. Have money.
Yep.
We're sorry what we did to you. Have some money. And they... Anyways. Not getting into that.
A little social commentary.
Anyways. So we were being told that we were racist normal at that point. We were just kind of like, a lot of us were just like, nope, we're not going to do this course.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go drink instead. And of course, this course was scheduled on a thing called Thirsty Thursday, where they had drinks.
Yeah.
So we drank. It's fantastic. And then I just eventually stopped going to that class.
Mm.
And then I eventually stopped going to all my classes.
Yeah.
I was placed in the longer English class.
Yeah.
So instead of doing all the English over the course of a single semester,
Mm-hmm.
it was 2 semesters because I was having an off day, and I missed like 1 point on their test.
Mm.
So they were like, "Oh no, you're going to this one." Like, really? I'm clearly supposed to be in the other one. So I tried going to that one too.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they spent like 2 days on the period, I get some people have problems with grammar,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they need 2 days on the period. I'm not sitting through that. I showed up periodically. Once I showed up to hand an assignment, and the teacher goes, "Who are you?" Or the professor.
Mm-hmm.
The professor goes, "Who are you?" I'm a student in this class. I haven't seen you before, and we're halfway through.
Mm.
Yeah, we're at the halfway mark, and I'm showing up for the midterm.
Yeah.
And I do well in the midterm, but she has no idea who I am, wants me to see her after class.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, no. Because I'm like explaining why I haven't been there for half the class.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, you can still catch up and you can still pass. And my head's like, yeah. Like, but you need to go all the classes from here on out. Not happening.
No.
Like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good to know. Sure, I'll see you after class. Here's the midterm. Bye. Off I go.
Speaking of midterms, that's one of the times that we were drinking a lot.
While you're taking your midterm?
No, just after.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yes, engineers have this tendency to throw a lot of parties, especially after midterms, finals, holidays, weekends, somebody's birthday.
Broadcast students are the same way. We find any reason to drink.
Yeah.
It's the end of the week. It's time to drink. It's the middle of the week. It's time to drink. We just finished a broadcast. It's time to drink.
Yeah.
We look for any reason. At the TV station I worked at, they made a game out of drinking and driving.
Oh, lovely. Don't drink and drive.
Why not? We can encourage that kind of behavior, right? No.
We're walking along roadways. We should not be encouraging drinking and driving.
If that ever happened, I would hope it'd be by someone who listens to it like, oh, you guys recording an episode? I'm so sorry.
Sorry for the interruption. Can you please pick your skin out of my grill?
It's like, oh, I'm probably going to die, but can you please record this episode to your computer and upload it? Leave this all in?
Yep.
We won't name names. But we will say that one of our listeners killed us.
Yep. We'll just call him Buick.
So now Buick, this fictitious character who killed us in this fictitious universe,
Yeah,
is going to become a fixture in our podcast now.
I think so. Recurring character.
Yes. Now now that you exist, Buick, whoever you may be, you are going to be in the episodes to come.
Yay.
Whenever we need someone to blame the shit on, it's Buick.
That works. I kind of have a running gag with the wife that anytime something goes wrong, we blame Steve. We don't know anybody named Steve.
I do, and Steve is a douchebag.
Oh, so even better. So anyway, getting back to the roommate, because I still haven't gotten to the point where we moved in together. Well, that doesn't sound quite right. Some
Part where
people,
we sleep together.
some people thought that about us. So after UBC, since we only did the 1 year, there was nothing after that. I aged a bit more, did some other schooling, and then instead of me moving out of my dad's house, he moved out.
That's kind of like what happened with my place. Instead of, well, no, I was living somewhere else. I moved back to my mom's place, and then she moved out. And I got the place.
Yeah.
Where where Hatman now lives. In a way, it's staying in the family.
Yeah. So my dad moves out, and all of a sudden I'm stuck with a rent bill. It's a bit high for just me to pay. And my friend, who'd been living at his parents' still, was looking to get out of there, so I asked him, and he said yes. I wound up sharing that townhouse for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and then wound up having the opportunity to move into his grandfather's house, which was way better than a townhouse.
Nice.
And not really any more expensive because it was his grandfather we were paying.
Nice.
So that all worked out. We were fairly compatible for living companions. The only things we ever really fought about were gaming stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the only reason I kind of stopped being his roommate is he got a girlfriend with a daughter, and then they kind of got a little more serious, moved in, then it just felt a little bit crowded and awkward.
It does that.
Yeah. So I had to move out, and it was at that point that I decided I would go live with my mom. Since I had never really done that for most of my life.
Fair enough. And what was that experience like?
It wasn't bad, other than my brother eating anything that I left in the cupboards food-wise. So I wound up basically eating out all the time, which can put a hamper on saving any money.
Tell me about it.
And I had only meant to stay there for like a year or less, and wound up staying for 3.
Time flies.
Yep. But then I had a friend that had just bought a 2-story house, and he was renovating the basement for a basement suite, and basically he offered it to me. So I had to find a roommate. So I asked another friend that I'd known since grade 5, and he said yes. So, funny, I could ask guys to live with me, no problem. So yeah, then we wound up staying there for, I think, about 3 years.
Are we heading back to the car?
We can, yeah. I'm getting pretty tired.
Yeah.
It's down this way.
Oh. Sorry, this way or?
This way.
You have to pass those people again?
Sorry.
That's okay. Anyways.
So yeah, we lived together for a few years, but then kind of the situation with my friend that owned the house wasn't paying utility bills at the time, and we had our hydro cut off 1 too many times, and so we decided that we'd move out. And at first we were looking to find a place together, and then we just decided that we needed to find a place, period. So we both wound up finding single residence or single dwelling residence that were affordable for us. So that's what we went with. And that was the last time I had a roommate. That whole situation, though, worked out really well in the basement suite. It was a 3-bedroom basement suite, and there were only 2 of us. But one of the bedrooms was incredibly small, and one of the other bedrooms was incredibly large, and then there was like a medium-sized one. So what we did is I wound up taking the small one and the large one and paid an extra, it was either $50 or $100 a month. And I used the small room as my bedroom and the big room as my computer room.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I wound up with the medium-sized room, which is still a pretty big room, especially for a basement suite. Where did I park? I thought it was... That's the thing I drove by. I must be...
Anyways, looking at the time, I think that wraps it up for us here. You want to exit us out this time?
Is it time for the penguin on top of the TV to explode?
I think it is. And now it's time for the penguin on the top of the TV to explode. Ow!
Why? What'd you do?
Never more we want to play.